just things like MailChimp I've used quite well. One year I was a bit short on work, so I just put a fixed price on it because I know most of my regular, I know most of the size of their yards. So I put out a winter garden clean-up special, and I thought it was $199 or something, and I just put a time allowance on it. We'll spend this much time, and I think I did we've got about a response into 15 or 20 in a week that we.
Oh wow.
So just sometimes using tools like you've got a database there, so market to your current database or customers that you've previously had. Just do some of that marketing in quieter times to make things happen.
It's like, what did it take you, 2 minutes to do the email? How long did it take you to do?
Yeah, probably. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but now I've got tools like ChatGPT and all sorts of
things. That's all right.
Knock you up a professional email in 10 seconds, so it doesn't take long at all. And then, you'll be surprised the response you get out of it.
So today joining us on the Jim's podcast is Matthew Sheldon, and you're from Jim's Mowing in Mooroopna, which is up near Shepparton, isn't it?
Yeah, just Mooroopna's and Shepparton are basically sort of joined together a bit like Albury-Wodonga.
Now, before we get into it today, I'll just start off with, we can present you with the Accor voucher, which is a silver membership to Accor, which is worth around $600, which is a great gift from the Jim's group and Jim to yourself for being a star franchisee. So that's 2 free nights at any Accor hotel around the world and some discounts on drinks and food as well. So I'll get that to you after the interview. But Matt, I just want to start off with first as well, what were you doing prior to Jim's Mowing in 2017?
Yeah, before Jim's, I was a mechanic by trade. I worked at a lot of car dealerships all over the country and worked myself up to automotive service manager. And that's pretty high pressure job. And I ended up, I had a job over here in Shepparton, which didn't work out. And I ended up going back to one of my old jobs, which was about 6 or 7 hours drive away. So I was actually working away from the family for a while. We were toying up whether we moved back down to the south coast of New South Wales or stay here. And the family really wanted to stay here. And I was sitting there because I was bored at night. No family or anything with me, so I'll sit there research, what can I do instead of the automotive industry? And basically Jim's Mowing, I watched all of Jim's YouTube videos and whatnot and researched that, and I thought, that sounds like me, sounds like it might be a lot less stressful than what I'm doing at the moment. So rang up and got onto one of the franchisors, and then by Christmas, a couple of months later, I was out with my own trailer, but started it with both my son and I at the same time. So that's how it all started.
And to where you are now, you got a shirt on, which is a very special shirt. Do you want to talk about that shirt you've got on it and the business as well you've got running with that?
Yeah, okay. So we've not only got the Jim's franchise now, but 12 months ago, my wife and I, we purchased one of the local mower shops here in Shepparton. So that's Shep City Garden Equipment. So my son, basically, I still oversee the Jim's operation, but the son takes care of all the day-to-day stuff, and we sort of run the Jim's business out of this premises as well. So we sell any mowers, any garden equipment, all that type of stuff. Yeah, zero-turn mowers, ride-on mowers, bush mowers, whippersnippers, you name it, anything to do with the garden equipment, we sell it, yeah.
And what made you go into that sort of area?
Oh, funnily enough, and you'll probably hear some of the complaints across the board from Jim's franchisees, is getting poor service at mower shops. And funnily enough, this particular shop, I think the owners have done a very good job building the business up, but they've become a bit disengaged and a bit tired. And I was coming in here and receiving pretty atrocious service, but then I'd see like 10 people queued up at the counter. I thought, geez, if someone half decent, like had a bit of enthusiasm, bit of passion, could really make a good go of it here, which we have done. Like, we pride ourselves on giving good customer service. So that's what drove me to give that a go. And I thought the two businesses would complement each other as well, which they have.
Yeah, so you walked in there, you didn't like the service, and you thought, I can do a better job than this. I'll make an offer and take it over, and away we went.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the business was. Well, it was a few years, like I was dealing here back in 2017, 2018. Yeah. I just thought to myself, if this ever came up for sale, you'd probably buy it. And it happened to come up for sale a few years later. And so, I'll have a crack.
Everyone, it might sound like it's easy, but I presume it's not easy at all. So maybe do you want to talk about just the realities of taking over a business as you have done, maybe some things that people might not know from your perspective. Most people go, I want to open a shop and do this and that, but they don't know the realities of how difficult it can maybe be. So maybe just talk about what are some of the hidden things that people don't know about when it comes to opening a shop or just doing what you've done.
the scary part, I guess, with business, and look, I've started a previous business when I was a lot younger and actually failed at that business because I was a little bit young and arrogant. Working as a mechanic, thought, oh, yeah, I'll go and open my own mechanic shop. They're charging so much an hour for me, they're making a killing out of me. And when I got out there and it's actually your own money that you're using in the bank account, it's not the case. There's a lot of costs that comes with business. So it's definitely not easy. It's definitely not, some people you get sort of labelled, oh, you've got a business, you must be loaded, or you can just claim this on tax and blah, blah. It's not quite like that. It is hard work. But yeah, so that's one of the main things I've learned from previous failures, I guess.
So when you did the Jim's Mowing franchise back in 2017, how big did you get, or what was the plan to always sort of maybe bank a bit of money, then transition into something like this, or what was your sort of early days like in the business?
I didn't really have any plans to necessarily buy a mower shop. I'm not someone, and that's a good thing about the gym system, I guess, is either you can be a solo operator or you can do it with employees. So I had to have a crack from the start because I had my son to pay as well, because I took him on, and obviously just because my son doesn't mean he's going to work for free. So I had to pay him a proper wage from day one. So I made a good go of it. Where I was, there was plenty of leads, so we managed to get it off the ground reasonably quickly, but it was still, you've got to be careful in the early days with cash flow and whatnot when you've got another employee to pay, but we managed to do that with 0 customers from the start. So we both my son and I went out. It was very scary at first. You're going out with 0 customers, you think, geez, where's you've got a little bit of money in the bank to get you started, but it's a bit scary thinking, oh, how am I going to pay him next week? But no, it took off very quickly. And look, just the research I'd done, I guess from the gym system, that looked like a very good system if you follow it. I did all the things that Jim says in his videos. I rang all the franchisees, and I guess what made me know that it was going to work is, I rang the local guys here, and they were, oh yeah, come on board, help us out, because we can't take any more leads. You'll get plenty of work, and yeah, so there seems to be plenty of work around there for everyone.
How big did your business get, Matt, when you're on the tools?
Up to 200 odd clients.
Really?
Yeah, regular, and there was up to 6 or 7 of us at one stage working. There's still 4 of them now. I scaled it back a little bit when I started here, but that being said, I've sold 4 splits since we started, so I've helped out a lot of other gyms get started, which is great. Also, the last one that I sold a split to was one of my ex-employees. He came to me one day and said, I seemed a bit nervous about it. He said, I want to go out and look, I said, take me hat off to you, go and have a crack on your own. And I sold him some customers to help him get started, and he's making a good go of it as well. That's
great. That must make you feel good as well, that you're helping someone else get their start in business as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. For those listening and watching a split, what Matt's referring to is a customer base. So in gyms, you can sell off customers, you can package them together, and you can sell them off to someone coming in, and that gives you a bit of income as well, and might condense your route a bit better, or, it might be some jobs you might not particularly want to do. Well, how did you decide on what to do with your splits? Actually, this is probably a good question to ask someone. How do you decide who goes into a split?
Basically, I decided, like, we were servicing some of the outside towns around here, and I thought, I really want to condense. So I sold off something like this Kyabram about half an hour down the road. So we were driving down the road half an hour, once a week to do a day there. Sold that run off. Basically just sold all of the customers that were I sold little clusters of customers that would get people started, a cluster of customers that will give them a day's work. Most of them, the splits I sold probably gives them almost a week's work straight up. So, but I try and sell them good little groups of customers as well, so they've got a little mini sort of run start and they can build up using around the neighbours there. But basically, just trying to condense down into the servicing just to one town and our territory. Obviously, focus on building up your territory. That's what we really focus on now. We're building up a really good customer base in Maroopna, which is our territory.
Now, finding staff and keeping staff is a problem for most businesses, regardless if they're gyms or not, Matt. So how did you go about finding your staff, and is there any advice around managing staff and maintaining employment? I've
been fairly lucky. I've found some good ones. I've had some pretty dodgy ones as well. Don't worry that haven't lasted. But my youngest son, Brock, sort of around, like, what was he, 16, 17 when I first started, and he would come and help out after school sometime. Then a lot of his friends would come and help with the run after school. And then about a couple of them, after they left school, wanted to come on board. And I've had one of them, I think he's been with us for about 4 years, one of Brock's school friends. Basically, the advice I can give with this type of industry with finding staff is it's a little bit of trial and error. You get them out. Much the same as when I decided I wanted to do gyms, you go out with a franchisee for the day. So we'll give people a week's trial and see how they like it, because a lot of people, it's not mowing grandma's lawn. But they'll come in, oh yeah, I can mow lawns, blah, blah, blah. Mowed my grandma's lawn for years, but that's not 20 lawns a day. And they actually physically, I've been surprised how a lot of people physically can't keep up. I'm a big bloke myself. I don't do too bad out there, but some of them, yeah. So you've got to make sure it's the right type of work. So it's a bit of trial and error. Takes the right type of person. Yeah. So that's how we do. It. Yeah.
And where did you find? And did you advertise anywhere online for these ever? Was it just referrals or for your son, or how did you find your staff? Where did you find them?
Referrals, but no, we found them through Seek and places like that online, employment agencies around town. Yeah, I mean, one of the guys I've got now, he's really, he left for a little while and realised the grass wasn't greener on the other side, and he's come back. He's a built worker. He was Seek originally. Yeah, so a bit of mixing, matching, bit of referring, my son's school friends all talking and whatnot and recommending people. But yeah, Seek and all those types of channels do work as well. Facebook, local Facebook groups, we've got a little bit of response out of them as well.
How did the body hold up over the years? Like, it's something we don't talk about, but everyone says the same thing. It can be very taxing. Did you ever try and ease up a little bit, like over winter, or how did you maintain your body when you're doing it at the max?
It definitely in the summer, it's extremely taxing on your body. So we try and sort of say to the guys, get out early and try and finish your run before the hottest part of the day. I don't really obviously, if they're going to take their holidays, the staff take the holidays, you prefer them to do it through the winter, have a bit of a break through the winter. I don't like to take the foot off the accelerator in the winter because I've got full-time employees. You still got to pay them. So we try and think outside the box for the winter jobs and don't just put all our eggs in one basket with just the mowing side of it. There's a lot of other stuff we can do as well in the winter time. So yeah, mainly, yeah, the taxing side of your body, yeah, just in the heat, yeah, try and cut the hours back or get out early and work in the pool, yeah.
Now, in the winter, Matt, what type of stuff were you pushing clients towards? Was it something that you raised with them to do? Like, was it more gutters or soft landscaping stuff? Or what sort of stuff, other services were you pushing them towards in winter times?
A bit of mainly soft landscaping. Obviously, you've got things like your rose pruning that you focus on. But if a customer sort of asks you in the summertime, well, you might start pointing things out in the sun because your work's going to die off in the winter. You might point out, oh, geez, that garden bed there could use a remulch. And they might say, oh, yeah, go ahead and I'll just put them off a little bit and just say, yeah, when we get a bit quieter through the winter, that's probably the best time we can do it for you, that we can focus the time on it and make sure we do a spot-on job for you. So you just start planting the seed in the customer's head before the winter gets there and just remind them you can. And then just things like MailChimp I've used quite well. One year I was a bit short on work, so I just put a fixed price on it because I know most of my regular, I know most of the size of their yards. So I put out a winter garden cleanup special, and I think it was $199 or something, and I just put a time allowance on it. We'll spend this much time, and I think we got about a response and did 15 or 20 in a week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so just sometimes using tools like I've got. You've got a database there, so market to your current database or customers that you've previously had. Just do some of that marketing in your quieter times to make things happen.
It's a great point, Matt, and I think it's underutilized a lot by some franchisees in regards to using the emails and using the numbers, and that relationship you guys have got with your customers. You probably maybe underestimate how much they might listen to you. So, just putting that seed out there saying, I've got a special or a fixed price special is a really good tactic. As you just said to everyone, can work really, really well. And so, what did it take you, 2 minutes to do the email? How long did it take you to do?
Yeah, probably. Oh, maybe a little bit longer than that, but nowadays you've got tools like Chat GTP and all sorts of things.
That's all right.
Knock you up a professional email in 10 seconds. So
yes.
Doesn't take long at all. And then you'd be surprised the response you get out of it. People just sometimes, especially in the winter time, oh geez, I haven't even looked at it, and then they might, oh geez, the yard does need a bit of a clean up. So everyone gets busy and they don't necessarily always think of or remember to ask you to do certain things. So you just got to sort of keep planting the seed. Oh yeah, a lot about Jim's book that he wrote, the selling without selling type stuff. I just know that I've just been cleaning some gutters and and they might, oh, geez, do you do that type of stuff as well, dude? Yeah. So you don't have to be really pushy with people to get the extra work necessarily either.
Yeah, and also people, we assume that they know everything we do, right? They know everything you do based on your name, but we know that they don't sometimes. They might not know that Jim's Mowing does gutters or can do soft landscaping or can do rubbish removal. So making sure that they actually know you do the service, even with a generic email, could be saying, remember we can do this, this, and this, and this. It's something that's really, really easy to do because, and sometimes we get pigeonholed by our names, whether it be Jim's Mowing or Jim's Antennas or something like that, just as doing that service when, as you said, you can do a lot more. So what were the things that you were doing in your business, or what types of services do you find yourself doing in your business besides mowing? What else is that customers can know about?
In our business, mainly, obviously, there's all your weed control, your pruning, all your remulching of garden beds, redo the garden edging, all that. So you might see some rotten garden edging or something in someone's yard. Oh, yeah, we can do that type of job. Yeah, so all that type of extra stuff. Yeah, obviously your rubbish removal, all that, replace plants, you can replant that garden bed. We can, make a nice little garden bed here, build a little sand pit for the kids to play and all that type of stuff, yeah.
And I was going to say now, being the owner of a mower shop, you obviously have a lot of independents coming, and you would know a lot of independents now. So what's the whole independence with Jim's Mowing sort of vibe? What do you sort of get a sense of from the independents?
You do get a lot of, and you see it on Facebook, but it's probably a lot of mainly, you get a bit of tall poppy syndrome there, like they think gyms are automatically a bit of a rip-off sometimes. It depends on if they've got I'll categorise your independents. You've got what I call the cowboy mowers, I guess, the ones that get around with their bench shaft whippersnipper, bench shaft bandits, bench shaft whippersnipper from Bunnings, operating out of the back of the car. They're probably a lot of the ones jumping on your Facebook and bagging you out, gyms as a rip-off, and they probably look, dare I say it, they probably haven't even got an ABN number, nor do they pay taxes or insurance like we do. But I mean, there's a lot of the contractors we deal with that come in with this business, they're professional contractors as well that have built up a very good, like your independents that are around and they've got their own uniform, a little bit like the Jim's brand. They've got the trade sign written, they're the professional ones. That there are some, that definitely, I see it, on the Jim's Facebook page a fair bit as well. But
TikTok's the place. Facebook's one place, but TikTok's the place. But you're right, Matt, and it's a good observation. It's quite interesting. We have a lot of big independent mowing businesses, like who have uniforms but massive followings, and they really love what Jim's Mowing do. We have good relationships with like a few guys like Tim the Lawnmower Man and Trusted Maintenance Lawn, Nathan's Lawn and Gardens. Like they're always following our stuff, and we get along really well with them. And there's a lot of independents who are really, really good. You're right though. It's the ones that are the ones who have just chucked the mower in the back of the ute and driving around, and why they go, they think it's real easy to do because people just seem to think, why pay Jim's Mowing all your money? You can just go buy some gear, start up, and you're going to be a millionaire within the next couple of years. So maybe do you want to talk about just the realities of how hard it can be starting a lawn care business?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those ones that are thinking like that and that do go and buy your bench shaft whippersnipper from Bunnings and your $199 lawnmower from Bunnings. We see it every year around our area, sort of at this time of year, all those guys start up and they're undercutting your prices, which it doesn't worry me too much because usually by March they're gone because their mower's broken down and they haven't got the money to fix it. Because, look, a lot of them, with some of the prices they're charging, if they calculate and actually think like a business, think add the costs there, all your fuel costs, your maintenance costs, all that, they're working for less than minimum wage by the time they, and they wonder why they can't pay themselves a wage. So I guess you've got to know your numbers to do a bit of research and learn about cash flow and all that, which you do at the gym's training. Like the gym's training, they go through the costs involved in it and learning about cash flow. A lot you'll see independents, some of them bag, the lead fees are ridiculous. And I look at lead fees as an investment. It's going to, like I pay $11 or $12 or whatever it is for a lead. If I went out and did all my own Google ads or Facebook ads, it's going to cost me a lot more than $10 or $12 to gain every customer.
Yeah.
And with gyms, because they're so well known, you can just switch those leads on and off. But they're always, everyone seems to know the phone number just about, so you're going to get work. Yeah, I mean, I flick my leads on and off. Well, I usually leave the territory part on, but I might flick it in and out of all areas and whatnot, just as we need the work. So
Well, I'm glad you said
taken care of for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said the lead fee stuff, Max. We had a guy called Mike Andy's come out from America. Mike Andy's got a massive YouTube channel. He's an independent mowing guy, and he went through.
I'm a huge follower of Mike. I am myself. Yeah.
Mike's a legend, and Mike did a bit about our lead fees because we told him how much they pay for leads, and he did this whole calculation on the board and about because he knows out because obviously he does a lot. He's a really smart guy, and he was saying how much it costs him to generate his franchisees to generate lead via Google Ads and stuff with their franchise compared to ours, and he couldn't believe how cheap we were charging. He was actually telling Jim to raise the lead fee price, which no one probably wants to hear.
It's great. Yeah. It's crazily cheap. Yeah, and I tried to get down to that day. I was too busy, but I have since watched the video, and he was sort of, why would you ever turn leads off, when they're that cheap? And they've got an opportunity. A lot of the gyms guys that are independent now, you've got an opportunity to build a fair business if you want to. That's the beauty of the gym system, I guess. If you want to just set it up as a lifestyle business, so you have more time with your kids, you're a little bit older maybe, and you just don't want to work 10-hour days anymore, it's great for that. But then if you want to have a real crack as well, the system works for that as well, like it has for me. Like we've got a fairly high turnover revenue every year, and it's been great. So either you're solo typepreneur or if you've got a bit of entrepreneurial type in you as well, you could really have a crack and really make a go of it.
It's a great point. And then also people, the flat fee, if you earn more, you keep the more. It's not something where you pay any extra fees, which I think big misconception with gyms is they think we take half of your turnover or 40% of your turnover. Jim would be a lot richer than what people think if he did that. So it's a flat fee model. So you pay the same as a sole trader as someone, 4 or 5 staff, 10 staff, it's the same fee.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now with you in the system, obviously you're a very successful business person. Why do you stay within the Jim's Mowing brand? What value do you get out of it from your perspective?
Definitely the fact that you've got that brand recognition. People know the trailers, and I've made sure I've written even all the utes as well. So because people literally I'll be parked at the supermarket in the work, after work or whatever. People will just walk up to you or you're filling up with fuel at the service station. Haven't got your trailer with you, but because I've got the ute and had Jim's Mowing put on that, people will walk up to you and have you got a card or can you come around and do this quote? So it's just such a recognised brand. People recognise the bearded bloke with the hat on the side of the trailers. Yeah, that's the main reason it's just brand recognition. To build your own brand takes years and years. Years and years to build your own brand, especially and Jim's is it's the biggest franchise group in the world. Services franchise group in the world. So why wouldn't you want to stay with it? I guess
Absolutely. And I was going to say as well, with your mowing shop, just for the mowing blokes, the Jim's Mowing fellas, what's some sort of, obviously you can do some video content, which we're going to share about maintenance and stuff, but what are some common mistakes that you see independent gardeners and, let's say, Jim's Mowing franchisees making with equipment? What are some things they're doing wrong?
Under-servicing, definitely. I mean, I have I won't say his name, but I have one of the other Jim's guys in last week, and he's booking his ride-on in for a service, and he said, I better do the first blade change on it. And I said, geez, how long you had those? You've had that mower for nearly, a year and a half, 2 years, and you're just doing I said, you've got to, so a lot of things like that, I guess, just sometimes you've got to just spend a little bit to keep the machines well maintained and keep that professional cut on the lawns. I guess main thing, probably under maintaining the equipment so it's not always running to its full efficiency. Yeah, we're pretty... I was always, a strong follower of, because Americans they love YouTube over there. So you watch what all the independent businesses are doing over there, how they maintain their equipment, and blade sharpening, all that type of stuff they're just doing every week. And I was the same every Sunday, to prepare everything for the Monday, make sure it was all fully maintained. So that's probably the main thing. I would say is not looking after the equipment, and probably sometimes not. I've made the mistakes of buying the cheaper equipment thinking it'll do the job. One example was like hedging equipment. I probably bought the entry level hedger, but then a year or so later I bought the bigger hedger. Thought, I should have bought that in the first place. So much more power, and I'm getting the job done so much quicker than I can charge the same amount of money for. So so it's sometimes not selecting the right equipment as well.
Well, let's talk about equipment selection then. How are guys making, is there any brands you push people towards, or is it more of a budget thing, or what sort of stuff should professional gardeners be looking at in terms of brands or, let's say, equipment for their business?
Equipment-wise, I mean, the brands we sell here, obviously, they're the best. Yeah.
But what do you sell? Tell us, plug your business.
I sell the Gravely mowers, which I started. The reason I sell the Gravely mowers, I took that brand on not long after, because that was actually the first mower I bought in the Jim's business. And they're a US built machine, and they're so tough. They just put up with an app. I bought a stand-on machine as well. That cuts down so much of your push mowing, because it's a very narrow, like it's only a 32-inch machine, so it'll fit through most gates. So it eliminates all the push mowing and gets the guys a lot more efficient. So you get through up to, probably 4 or 5 more lawns a day, just by eliminating a heap of push mowing. Yeah, we've got all the Bush Ranger brands, all the brands through, PLP, Power Up Lawn Care. We do Pelleak. Everyone would know that battery brand.
Pelleak. Yeah, great.
Yeah, but I've got demo equipment and stuff too that people can try. All the Bush Ranger stuff, Massport, Echo, Shindaiwa. I'm sure there's more. They're the main core brands. I do use a walker mower in I don't sell walkers here, but I do use a walker mower in my business. They're quite, if you've got people with manicured lawns with acreage, because
a lot of our Queensland blokes.
Yeah, it catches the grass and everything, so it leaves a really nice finish. But the toughest, the most impressive machine we've used in our Jim's business is definitely the Gravely zero-turn mowers. They're just the amount of stuff they put up with is unbelievable. And we do all the Cox brand stuff as well. So that's So, and definitely the stand-on was a huge investment. I should have done that a lot earlier, because it just saved us a hell of a lot of time. It is an expensive machine, but then you've got to sit down and calculate how quick is it going to pay. Calculate how much time it's saving you, and just calculate how long is this going to take to pay for itself.
Now, Matt, what would you recommend for a new franchisee maybe looking at Jim's Mowing? I know it's obviously depending on budget and different things like that, but what are the sort of essentials, maybe brands or items in regards to brands, what they could start with?
You'd probably set up with something. It depends whether you want to go petrol or battery straight off. The battery stuff is a little bit more expensive to buy, but then you've got to do the calculations of how much it's going to save you over time. But good, like something like an Echo whippersnipper, Shindaiwa whippersnipper, or one of the Bush Ranger ones. Just a good commercial entry level thing, like the handheld stuff. Good entry level. A good sort of 42-inch zero-turn mower if you wanted to start off with ride-ons, but you don't necessarily have to start off with a ride-on too. You could just start off with a good whippersnipper, blower, your self-propelled lawnmower. What a lot of people forget too, I forgot, is just the amount of hand tools and stuff you need to, like all your rakes and all those types of things that you need to set your trailer up with at the start as well. And don't just buy the cheap, nasty sort of big warehouse brands. Well, that as well. Just spend a few extra dollars. We've got German, Wolfgarten tools here that are German tools. They last forever. Yeah, a little bit more expensive, but they're gonna last.
There's a lot of those things have really good guarantees on them. I know I've seen a few brands that have like lifetime guarantees or really good guarantees on those trucks.
Yeah, I think Wolfgarten, it's either lifetime or it's a minimum of 10 years on most of their stuff. So yeah,
absolutely. Now with your business, Matt, you're going to make us some maintenance mowing videos showing blokes how to sharpen blades. Are you able to do that for us?
Yeah, I will be. Yeah, I will be doing those. And you said you can put them up on the gym.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. So we'll start doing some how-to, and sometimes the best. Like I did, I don't know. I'm a bit crazy sometimes. I sat down and did that much research on things like whippersnipper cord. What's the best one to buy? And I found ripping whippersnipper cord that we sell here that just doesn't break off like other stuff does. I went through a heap of so I guess all those things that when you go out on your own, just all the little things over the years you've found the best of something so that it makes your job that much more efficient. I'll do a bit of stuff on that as well, like best type of blades and stuff to put on your mower, how to sharpen the blades, I guess a lot of it, we're going back to what contractors' mistakes they make is in between services, they don't do the preventative maintenance. Like sometimes they forget to blow out the air filters, keep the machine clean properly. Just a few pointers on that to avoid breakdowns.
Yeah, but great, because what I want to do is have a Jim's Mowing playlist with your equipment maintenance stuff and have all your stuff in there and label different things for our guys, because I presume a lot of them go and get all the American stuff, but it'd be great to have a Jim's Mowing franchisee with the Aussie accent showing him everything. And and you're going to have an online shop as well, I think, eventually, are you? Or are you working on that? Or?
Well, I've got the website that's ready to go pretty much. Well, there's a few more things to do. By the time this is up and running, it probably will be ready to go. So I'll get set up a discount code and everything there for the gym's franchisees and their fans to use. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Now, looking back, are you surprised about where your gym's journey's led you? Because I'll embarrass you a little bit here. I remember back in the day, there was this big memeing Facebook page, and they made you the face of it, and that was a huge page. Like, we're talking a lot of people, so people might recognise you from that. But that page, unfortunately, someone hacked it and took it over, and they can't get access to it. It's pretty much died off. But are you surprised about where the journey has taken you? It's pretty short. It sounds like it's a long time, 6 years, but it's not really to be where you are.
No, not really. I guess the years have flown by. Well, it doesn't seem like that long ago that I started, and I was quite surprised when it was actually one of my wife's work friends, I think, that sent that picture into Jim's. I didn't know anything about it until I saw it there. I thought, what's going on? Yeah, and it was a picture of me very sunburned after a very long day.
Oh, mate, that's the comments were classics, and a lot of people are saying, that's Australian peak performance and all that sort of stuff. That's some nice stuff there. But you're surprised about where you've gone from where you started.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think it'd be anything more than just a bit of a business for myself and my son. And look, both Belle and I, my wife and I, we're quite proud of the fact that we've employed locals. Being able to employ people, help them. It's great when you hear, one of your employees are saving up for a house or whatever, or that, they've put a deposit down on their house. It's just great that you've been a part of that and been able to create a job for someone. So it's, definitely been a lot bigger than I thought it would just be myself and my son with one trailer. But it grew into so much more than that.
That's a really good point. I say to Jim all the time, he's created a lot of millionaires in the Jim's group regarding how many families over the years for the small businesses, and they've either still with us or got their start and went on to do other things. But now you're sort of like a mini version almost in a way. You're helping people in your community get started in business, and they might go and do something else, but they started with you or they get that business from you, and that's a really good thing as well to pass it on and to help the next generation come through with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yep. And I was one of the main franchisee in my area, if you like, because a lot of the other guys when I took over weren't taking lead. So I grew up a fairly big business, and then they started putting a few other gyms in, and you get a little bit worried, is there going to be enough work? Is there going to be enough work? But just the way I embrace more people coming on there, because the way the system works and more trailers that are out there just seems to create more and more leads all the time because people see the gym's trailer everywhere. I think there was, in my area, there was there might have been 3 franchisees when we started, and I think now there's 8 or 9 or something like that. And I've got no shortage of leads. Like I've just flicked back to territory leads at the moment. I still, get half a dozen or so a week, a lot. So it's just the brand in numbers, it just grows. The more numbers there are, that seems to just create more and more work.
Yeah, it's very counterintuitive because, I remember I've been for 12 years and you used to hear that argument a lot in the early, back when I first started, there's too many people in the area, etc. But as you would know, it's more driving billboards around, more mobile advertising, more people doing great work, which is generating referrals and goodwill in the area, especially in a regional area. That stuff tends to go a lot further as well. Yep. And it's probably less competitive maybe sometimes at the metro areas. But I was going to say as well, Matt, how's the support as well been from your franchisor over the years? You would have I think you might have had a couple. So how's your support been overall?
The new guy we've got now is absolutely fantastic, Matty Watts.
Matty Watts, he'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Always ringing up, touching base with us, and he rings Belle mainly, talks to probably Belle, my wife, more than me. But he's always checking in how we're going. He obviously runs his meetings monthly and whatnot. But no, he's a really, really good guy. He does support Carlton, which that's a bit of a problem. But
he does look a bit like Lance Whitnell as well, doesn't he? A bit of a lot older version of Lance Whitnell. Have you told him that? But
it's been fantastic.
Yeah, because a lot of people might not know, but the franchisor, like Matt, what you're referring to, Matthew Watts, is a franchisor, and they're there to support you and generate work. And if you need something, they're there to help you. And it's great to hear that he's been a good support. He's a good franchisor from the franchisees I've been interviewing. And now, Matt, I'll let you go because I'm sure you're a busy man. But thank you very much for joining us today on the Jim's podcast. And I'll get this to you and your wife, the Accor voucher, which is worth $600. That's 2 free nights at any Accor hotel in the world, pretty much. Bunch of discounts on dining and drinks as well. So have a night out on behalf of Jim and the Jim's Group. And thank you very much for being a star franchisee, mate. We appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Joel. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate that too.
No worries. I look forward to seeing your videos too. It'd be great to get your videos on our thing. And make sure when your business website's live and stuff with your code, give it to us and we'll make sure we plug it from our end as much as we can.
Awesome. No worries.
No worries, Matt. Appreciate it, mate. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Joel.
No,
See you, mate.
See you, mate. Thank you for listening to the episode of the More Than Just Mowing podcast by Jim's Mowing. If you do need help with your local gardening expert, please give us a call on 131 546 for Australia, 0800 454 654 for New Zealand, or head to jimsmowing.com.au or jimsmowing.co.nz. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to leave us a review as well, wherever you consume your podcast. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.